शैलेश मेहता આવું થાય છે હું ખાલી રમેશભાઈની આ જગ્યા રાખવાની છું તમે મને પહેલો વહેલું બેસાડો મને મારે બોલવાનું હા હા ના ના બહુ સરસ
Everybody wants to sit on the corner.
Ramesh, hello you. Nice. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, take one. Thank you. Rajulan. Bicara bola ya kan ini juga kecil.
Oh, this right here.
Oh, yeah. No, thanks. Okay. This is my wife's right here. Thank you.
여기저기는 있고 그냥 아실 여기저기 was doing some charity work with Pratham also. Jodo beti salim bachai kabe chokro
Can you hear me? Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shanti. Can you hear me now? Yes. Good morning, everybody. Closer, Good morning, everybody. Could you please turn off your cell phones for the next 2 hours? On behalf of the Sarkar and Jangyal family, I welcome and thank you all for being here today to honor our dear Dipak Dada. The program starts with a prayer led by Pandit Jagdish Rajbor. He is from Pasadena Hindu Temple. So I invite him to come and start the prayers. This will be followed by tributes by many people.
श्री विष्णु भगवान की जय, श्री पितृ भगवान की जय। मंगलम भगवान विष्णु मंगलम गरुड़ध्वजः मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्षो मंगलाय तनोहरिः। सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणे नमोस्तुते। नारायणे नमोस्तुते। परमादो यजमानस्य भागे स्वस्ति मन्त्रेण तिलकं कुर्यातः। हरिः ओम्। ॐ स्वस्तिर्नः वृद्धसर्वाः स्वस्तिर्नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तारक्षो वरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्तिर्नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातुः। ॐ स्वस्ति स्तुया विनाशकयो धर्मकलयहनवृद्धिदा विनायकप्रियानिधिः तामसस्ति प्रबन्धुनः कर्माधो शान्तिपाठपठेयुः। Now starting with Shanti prayers, Shanti Paఠ. हरिः ओम्। ॐ आनो भद्राः त्रेतावो चन्द्रविषवतोः नवधासुः अपरिहितासवतभिदः देवानो यथा सदमिद्वृद्धि भाषन्नब्धः युभो रक्षिताधो देवे देवे। ॐ देवानां भद्रा सोमदर्यजूर्यतहं देवाः नाघुरातिरभिनो निबद्धतं महा। ॐ देवाः नाघुसकजामुपशिहे धीमाभयं देवाः नहायुः प्रतिरन्तु जिह्वश्रीम्। ॐ द्यौः शान्तिरन्तरिषद्भुं शान्तिः पृथिवीः शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुः शान्तिः शामः शान्तिरेधिः। ॐ विश्वानि देव शाविदुर्दुरिता निपराः शुभौ शतभद्रं धन्ः शुभः। ॐ शान्तिः 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 सुशान्तिर्भवतु सर्वारिष्टः शान्तिर्भवतु हस्तं प्रक्षालयेतहं हस्तं हस्तं प्रक्षालयेतः देव नमस्कारं भगवते नमः हस्ते पुष्पं हृदयः कृष्टित फ्लावर नमस्कारं on the Vishnu name silently नमः speak ओम विष्णवे नमः ओम दामोदराय नमः ओम संकर्षणाय नमः ओम अच्युताय नमः ओम गोविंदाय नमः ओम माधवाय नमः ओम मधुसूदनाय नमः ओम त्रिविक्रमाय नमः ओम जनार्दनाय नमः ओम नृसिंहाय नमः ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमः 11 times silently विष्णवे नमः ओम सुमुखजैगदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णक लम्बोदरश्च विगतो विघ्ननाशो विनायकः विनायकं गुरुं भानु ब्रह्मा विष्णुमहेश्वरान् सरस्वतीः प्रणम्यादो सर्वकार्यार्थ सिद्धये भगवते महाविष्णवे नमः पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः प्रार्थनापूर्वक नमस्कारान् समर्पयामि अस्ते जलमादाय ओम right to the bottom into the ceiling inside now bring the sankalpa ओम विष्णु श्रीमद्भगवत विष्णु रज्ञया परवर्तमान सिद्ध ब्रह्मणे इति अपराधेष्टाश्महे कलियुगे कलिप्रथमचरणे अमेरिका ताजद्यः कैलिफोर्निया श्रावण मासे शुभे एवं शुभे शुक्ल पक्षताजद्यः ताजद्यः नवम्यां शनिवासरे गोत्रोच्चारः मोद्गल्य गोत्रः लिसिपित नमः पिता नाम नेम तस्य असद्गति विनाशार्थे सद्गति गौलोक वैकुंठ विष्णु लोकः प्राप्तिः अर्थे षोडश संस्कार अद्यः अंतिमः संस्कार विधिः अहं करिष्ये नमस्कार पितृ फर्स्ट फादर नमस्कार उसको पीछे ओम पितृ नमस्कार हरि ओम ओम पितृभ्यः स्वदाहिभ्यः स्वधा नमः प्रपितामहेभ्यः स्वदाहिभ्यः स्वधा नमः अक्षण्णवितरुः नीमदन्तवितरो हृदयपन्तवितरः पितरः शून्नदवं पिता पितामहश्चैव तथैव प्रपितामहः मातामहश्च वेदा च प्रमातामहकादयौ एते भवन्तु मे प्रीता प्रयच्छन्तु च मङ्गलं हंसस्त पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः नमस्कारान् नमस्करोमि नमस्कार लॉर्ड विष्णु silently विष्णवे नमः शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगविद्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णु भवभयहरणं सर्वलोकैकनाथ भगवते महाविष्णवे नमः नमस्कारान् नमस्करोमि यतः पितृदेवतानां पूजनं भगवते नमः ओम पितृपूजनम ओम तवांगंधर्वः अखनस्वामिन् स्वं बृहस्पतिः त्वामोक्षदेशो महोराधः यतवान्नक्षमातमुच्यतः पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। ओम हां त्वां गन्धवः अकनस्वामिन् स्वं बृहस्पतिः त्वामोखदेशो होरादः यतवान्नक्षमातमुच्यतः पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। गन्धं समर्पयामि मोक्षदाश्च सुराश्रेष्ठ कुङ्कुमत्ता सुविदः मया निता भक्त्या गृहाणः परमेश्वरः पितृभ्यो नमः। अक्षदान् समर्पयामि। ओम हम हरि ओम महा ओम सहस्रशीर्षः गुरुकः सहस्राक्षरौ सहस्रपादः सभूमिकुः व्यतिष्ठः शाङ्गुलां महा ओम गुरुकये वेदगुः सर्वं जगद्भूतं यस्य वाभ्यां महा उतामृतस्यैषानुः जदन्नेनः तिरोहरिः पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। पंचामृतं महा ओम महा ओम पयः पृथिव्यां पयो गते पयो दिव्यन्तरिक्षे पयो धाः पैशवतिः प्रदिशः शान्तुमह्यं महा। पितृदेवताभ्यो पञ्चामृतेन स्नपयेतः तुलसीपत्रं महम्। ओम ओम तुलसी रत्नरूपाञ्च मञ्जरिः भवमोक्षप्रदातुभियं कर्पयामि हरिप्रियं महा। तुलसीपत्रं समर्पयामि। पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। ओम यत्पुरुखं यदतुः कविदा व्यगपयन्नः मुखं किमशाश्चित् किं बाहो किमूरुपादः उचियेतिः भगवते पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। अतः भूमिफलानिं समर्पयेतः पितृदेवताभ्यो नमो नमः। सप्तः समर्पयामि। हरि ओम ओम चन्द्रमः मनसुभुजः चक्षुः सूर्यो भजायतः क्षोत्राद्वायुश्च प्राणस्य मुखादग्निध्वजायतः पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। सर्वचारादि तुलसीमालां समर्पयामि। पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। पितृभ्यो नमो नमः। पुष्पमालिकां समर्पयामि। ओम माल्यादिने सुगन्धिने मालत्यादिने मैत्रगुः मया नीतानि भूधरथं पुष्पाणि प्रति गृह्यताम् अहम्। षष्ठपिण्डानि महा हरि ओम सहस्रशीर्रेखा पूरुकः सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपादः सभूमिकुः शाङ्गुलामः पूरुक वेदगुः सर्वं भूतं यश्चाभ्यां महा भूतावृतस्येषानुः जदन्येनः हिरुहति हेताभारस्य महिमहदुजहयांस्य पूरुकः आदोस्य विषवा भूताद्रिपादस्यां वृदन्दिभिः त्रिपादूद्बहुलेदपूरुकः पादोत्सेहा भवद्पुनहं ततो विद्वञ्जग्रह मस्सासनानसने अभि ततो विराजजायत विराजुः आदिपूरुकः शाजातो वज्यस्य तपश्चाद् भूमिमथो पुरः ॐ मद्भ्यः सम्रतः पृथिव्यैरसाश्च विश्वकर्मणः समवर्तदाग्रे देवतमः ध्यानमग्रे वेदाहमेतं पुरुखं महन्तमाद्यवर्णन् तमसः परस्तादः तमेव विद्वाति मृत्युमेति नान्यः पन्थ विद्यते यनायः प्रजापतिश्चरति गर्भे अन्तर्जायमानः बहुधा विराजते तस्य योनिं परिपश्यन्ति धीरास् तस्मिन् हातस्तुर्भुवनानि विसवः जो देवेभ्य तातपदर्जो देवानां पुरोहितः पूर्वो जो देवेभ्यो जातो नमो रुचाय ब्राह्मणे देवताभ्यो नमः। ओम भगवते नमः। ओम विष्णुरराटमशि विष्णुः सत्यस्तो विष्णुः शिवोरशि विष्णु ध्रुवोषिः वैष्णवमशि वैष्णवे त्वः देवताभ्यो नमः। विष्णवे नमः। ओम विष्णुरराटमशि विष्णुः सत्यस्तो विष्णुः शिवोरशि विष्णु ध्रुवोषिः वैष्णवमशि वैष्णवे त्वः पितृदेवताभ्यो नमो नमः। सर्वचारादे प्रार्थना पूर्वक नमस्कारान् नमस्करोमि। प्रार्थयतः भगवते नमः। महाविष्णवे पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। प्रार्थना पूर्वक नमस्कारं ओम विष्णुरराटमशि विष्णुः सत्यस्थो विष्णुः शिवोरसि विष्णु ध्रुवोषि वैष्णवमशि वैष्णवे त्वः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ओम पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। नमस्कारं नमस्करोमि। ओम पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। उपसंहारः करारविन्दे नवदारविन्दं मुखारविन्दे विनिवेशयन्तं मदस्य मदस्य मुदेशयानम् आलं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि। पितृदेवताभ्यो महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम महानारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात्। भगवते पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। औषधिं समर्पयतः। महाविष्णवे नमः। ॐ विष्णोरराटमसि विष्णुः सत्यस्थो विष्णुः शिवोरसि विष्णुः त्रिभुवसि वैष्णवमसि वैष्णवे स्वाहा। वाक्यरापयतः ॐ पितृभ्यः सदाहितसुधा नमः प्रपितामहेभ्यः सदाहितसुधा नमः। अक्षन्नवितरो भीमदन्तवितरो श्रीदेवन्तवितरः वितरः शून्नतमः पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। प्रार्थनापूर्वक नमस्कारान् नमस्करोमि। नमस्कारः ॐ पितृभ्यः सदाहिभ्यः सदा नमः प्रपितामहेभ्यः सदाहितसदा नमः। अक्षन्नपितरो भीमदन्तपितरो त्रिदेवन्तपितरः पितरः शून्नतमः महाविष्णवे नमः। करारविन्दे पदारविन्दं मुखारविन्दे निवेशयन्तं वटस्य पदरस्य पुटेशयानं भालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि। पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः नमस्कारान् नमस्करोमि। ॐ भगवते नमः। हरि ओं नमः। ॐ चन्द्रमः मनसो जातचक्षुः सूर्यो अजायतः क्षोत्राध्वायुश्च प्राणस्य मुखा अग्निराजायतः नमस्कारान् नमस्करोमि।
Good morning again to everybody. My name is Jyotsna Grover, aka JD, aka Toti, as Dipak Dada and his naughty brothers addressed me as a child. They gave me this name because of my nose. I was very talkative, and it rhymed with my name. For me, he was Dipak Dada, an older brother. Dipak Kumar Sarkar was born on April 29, 1946 in Agra, India. His parents, Pani Bhushan Sarkar and Kanak Lata Sarkar, had 7 children, and Dipak Dada was the middle child. He grew up in an area of Baluganj in Agra and did his schooling over there till he was selected to IIT Dhanbad School of Mines. He graduated with BTech in 1967. He then came over to the United States, went on to finish his MTech from University of Tulsa in 1969. He continued to advance himself and pursued an MBA from Southern Methodist University, Dallas, Texas in 1975, while still continuing to work. He worked for 30 years at ARCO and stayed in many different places, Texas, obviously that's Dallas, Kansas, Long Beach, and many other places. Dipak Dada wore many hats. His main goal, nevertheless, was to help improve the education of children and youth. He was the founding member of Pratham, an organization dedicated to raising funds for education and building schools for impoverished children in India. He also served as the president of Pratham, the Los Angeles chapter, for multiple years. He served on advisory committee at Bengali Association of Southern California. He was the secretary of National Bangla Sammelan Conference, which was held in Fullerton. He was an active member of Bharat Seva Sangh West in Priya and eventually served as its president recently. He single-handedly raised hundreds and thousands of dollars for his alma mater, IIT Dhanbad School of Mines, mainly to start smart classrooms, innovation labs, and provide scholarships for underprivileged students. For this, he was honored and given the title of President of IIT Dhanbad Alumni of America. Apart from this, he enjoyed other things in life. He enjoyed translating Bengali poems into English. He was an avid reader and read everything from novels to newspapers to magazines, whatever he could get his hands on. He loved his family and friends immensely, never missed birthdays, baby showers, graduations, and attended multiple weddings every year, to the point when one time my husband went up to him and said, "Are you part of the renter crowd? Because you go to almost a dozen weddings a year, and I don't get invited to even a single one." He loved traveling. They traveled all over the world. The last trip was at Costa Rica in June. And actually, there was another trip planned for August for Alaska. He loved India. He traveled a lot to India and lived there for prolonged periods of time. He was a proud Indian. The saying, "You can take the man out of India, but cannot take India out of the man," was very appropriate for him. My earliest memories of Dipak Dada are from the 1960s. His family had lived in Baluganj, and he was one of my neighbors. Actually, his younger sister, Meeta, was a friend of mine, and I visited their house often and played in their backyard. The Sarkars were known for being a very smart family and dedicated to higher education. To this day, I have vivid memories of Dipak Dada going Chitradi, who was also living in our neighborhood. She was a beauty to behold, and there were many people who wanted to marry her. But Dipak Dada had a winning strategy. He befriended her older brother Malloy, so he could get a chance to visit their home. He would go there initially to get glimpses of her, then he would make short conversations with her, and then one day he won her when he told her he was going to USA to work, but he would want to come back and marry her and take her to the land of opportunity and beauty. I vividly remember their wedding. It was a grand and magical wedding in the lush lawns of Agra Hotel. This was a beautiful couple, and they made head turns wherever they went. Fast forward 1992, Dipak Dada and Chitradi visited San Francisco and found out that I was in the Bay Area. They made a list of all the Malhotras in the Bay Area and started calling them each one by one, till they were finally able to locate somebody who knew us and gave them the phone number. It was such a joy to see somebody thousands of miles away from Baluganj. Fast forward again, my career brought me to Los Angeles, and I rented a small place. Dipak Dada and Chitra Di came over to see if the place was to their satisfaction. They looked around and within a few minutes decided I should move in with them. They helped me pack my bags and I stayed with them for almost 2.5 years. It was then that I found out that I was not the first one who was welcomed to their home. Many before me and many after me stayed with them for months and years. My husband jokingly called their home Chitra Hotel. This generosity was unheard of. I got to know Dipak Dada a little bit more during my stay with them. And what was most impressive was, even though at that point he had a home office, he would wake up very early, get ready like he was going out to work, then sit down in his home office and work seriously till the evening. He had good discipline and good work ethics. He maintained really good habits. He exercised regularly. He did not smoke. Alcohol was used very sparingly. And whenever my husband and Dipak Dada met, they would actually share a beer. That was their tolerance. He had an amazing memory. He remembered names of all the vendors from Baluganj, all the thobis, the halwais, the mochi, the panwala, the bicycle wala, and it was a joy to talk to him about all those. He was an avid bridge player.
Yeah.
A friend of mine recently said she would always ask to be Deepak's partner at bridge. I felt comfortable, she said. He would not berate me and he was non-judgmental. He made conversation enjoyable. He made jokes. He would actually cut fruit every evening for dinner. He never raised his voice. You could not rattle his cage, except, as my husband says, when the conversation led to our ex-president. 2 Saturdays ago, I sneaked into his hospital room. He was on oxygen. I had a brief conversation with him. He said his fever was gone. I was elated. He asked only one question, and that question still haunts me. Will I make it? Is what he asked. I responded, you certainly will, having seen so many patients go into the ICU and come out feeling better. I had no question in my mind that he would eventually do well. I feel I let him down. Looking back, he has given joys to many, and himself has lived a blessed life filled with multiple successes and joys. A beautiful and devoted wife, Chitra. They just had their 50th anniversary. A lovely, caring daughter, Sonali. A gem of a son-in-law, Raj. Smart kids, smart grandkids, Uma and Arjun. And look around. The room is full of his relatives, nieces, nephews, some of them were here about 2 weeks ago and are back again. He was a benevolent soul. He will sorely be missed, and he leaves big holes in everybody's hearts. There is a verse that has comforted me over the years, and I want to share that with you, and hopefully that would comfort some of you as well. When I come to the end of the road, and the sun has set for me, I want no rights in a gloom-filled room. Why cry when a soul is set free? Thank you all for the support of Chitradi and Sonali during these difficult times. Om Shanti. The next person to pay tribute is Sonali, Dipak Dada's daughter.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm sorry, please bear with me. This is the most difficult speech I've had to give, so try my best to get through it. I had the great fortune of being born to Baba and Ma in February 1973 in Dallas, Texas. Baba had begun working as a petroleum engineer with the Atlantic Richfield Company, known as ARCO, in 1969, and proposed to Ma the same year. Baba and Ma started their married life there in 1972. My kaka lived with us for a short time during those early years as well. Baba drove a sparkly blue Pontiac Firebird and had all the Beatles albums stacked in our home. Baba would have his friends over at the home. Most of them were bachelors at the time. They would play poker on the weekends. Ma and Baba would religiously watch the news every night, Barbara Walters being the news anchor at the time. Both Baba and Ma pursued their MBAs while we lived in Dallas. When Ma would attend classes and study, Baba would keep me entertained for hours. I distinctly remember my mini kitchen in my bedroom. He would say, "Shona, make me dal." Okay, let me have some match. And he would act out everything. And we would just sit there. And he was such a good actor. He would say, "This food is delicious. Please make me some more." When I was 6, he coached my soccer team. He soon found out I'm not much of an athlete. When I was 7 years old, we moved to Independence, Kansas. We lived there 8 years, immersed in small town American life, attending the local chili cook-offs and going to our neighbors' homes for barbecues. Ma and Baba would take me to plays and big band concerts, all the local festivals. On Friday nights, we played board games as a family, everything from Scrabble to a geography game. And I still can't do Scrabble. I tried. Being a lawyer, I thought, I'm gonna have an edge, but Baba was just too good. We also had our Indian friends in the surrounding tri-state area. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, in which we would meet with families and have sleepovers on the weekends and holidays. We would drive 2 hours away for the Diwali and other pujas. We traveled a great deal, going to India every few years. We also went to Europe and England, where my mamas lived. My trips to India were so memorable because my parents are immersed in their families and friends. Because both of them are from Agra, the families also knew each other well. I cherished all the visits with my grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends. Baba's love for India rubbed off on me. It also created a very strong identity for me. I knew I was American, but I knew that my Indian heritage ran deep, and I have always been proud of that fact. Baba loved spending time with his nieces and nephews, and as a grandfather, and Arjun were his pride and joy. He would not be able to go a few weeks without seeing and Arjun. He would say, "Shona chole aaye, bacha nahi chole aaye." He would ask them to come and stay so he could take them miniature golfing or on a hike. He was a hands-on Babu, just like he was a hands-on Baba. I'm grateful that we were able to travel to India together for my cousin Guddu's wedding and for our trips to the national parks, Yellowstone most recently, and Grand Canyon. Baba's love for children extended beyond his family. After learning about Pratham, a nonprofit that raised money for impoverished children in India from his dear friend Yogi Patel in Houston, he started a chapter in Los Angeles. He served as president of Pratham LA for 6 years. Baba would be excited to see the schools and meet the teachers of Pratham on his visits to India. In the same vein, he raised money for his alma mater in Indian School of Mines, IIT, for innovation labs and classrooms. My father's motto in life is that he had been blessed in so many ways, he wanted to level the playing field for others who are not as fortunate as him. Baba created a paradigm, a worldview of what a man ought to be. Wise, loving, humble, compassionate, and generous, and very altruistic. He and Ma also shared a marriage which served as a role model for me and created a blanket of security in my life. Baba and Ma celebrated their 50 years of marriage in this past January. Their mutual respect, admiration, and love for each other have been awe-inspiring. He told my mom recently in a card that she was God's gift to him, and that was evident in their relationship. They were a match made in heaven. When I reflect upon my father and my upbringing, I couldn't have asked for more. Baba and Ma instilled a worldview that is hopeful, optimistic, and loving. He was the most content and joyous person I have ever met. He lived every day with great zeal and lived life to the fullest. He would read 5 newspapers a day, from everything ranging from the New York Times to the Hindustan Times. He was an avid reader. His love for reading began as a kid. He told me he would like to read English novels and he would try to sneak into English films in his young days, into a theater. He was very fit and active as well. He walked every day and jogged for most of his life. He ate healthy, other than his love for mishti. That is the only vice he had, if you could call it that, is his love for sweets. Baba supplied me with great advice throughout my life. He peppered me with nuggets of wisdom. He would say, assume the best in people, unless they give you reason otherwise. He would say, when you do good things for someone, that person may not reciprocate, but someone else will, tenfold. Essentially, good deeds are paid back by the universe. Baba was never about enriching himself, but always about serving others and making the world a more equitable place. I would tease him that he was one of the few people who liked to pay his taxes. He would say, I'm blessed to be making a good living and will gladly pay my fair share. People collect different things. Some people collect antiques, some people collect cars. He collected friends wherever he went. He would nurture these relationships, water them, feed them, check in on them year after year. He was very close to our family in India, both his side of the family and Ma's. Then he had his friends from school, college, his early days in Tulsa, his graduate program to Texas, to Kansas, and eventually California, where he lived the last 35 years. We would go to various parts of the country and he would have a friend in that town. He would invariably stay or visit with this friend and their family. He was an amazing social networker, well before Facebook and Instagram. You should have seen my parents' Christmas card list. He never forgot a single one of his friends from any part of his life, wherever he lived. He was a well-wisher. He would always want to celebrate other people's achievements and milestones. He would fly out for a friend's child's wedding at the drop of a hat. In his later years, he played bridge, first in person and then online. This bridge group spanned the world, including college classmates and old friends that lived in other parts of the country. That was the thing. He had a very joyful life. It was full of celebrations and love. The constant theme I have heard from my family and friends is that they will miss Baba's smile and humor. He was so witty and quick responses at the tip of his tongue. He was funny and peaceful. He never took himself too seriously or had a big ego. He never compared himself to others or wanted what others had. He never held grudges. He was grateful for each and every day and all the blessings bestowed on him. Because he was so happy, I couldn't help but grow up happy and be very positive. He was a force of nature, Gentle, yet he impacted so many lives. He had a heart of gold. In the last days in the hospital, I kept thinking about my father's heart, Baba's heart, and I wished that I would be as good as him. Baba, the pain of not seeing you is intense, and I'm not sure what I will be happy again. You were an extraordinary man, an extraordinary life. The only solace I have is that God allowed me to have you in my life for nearly 50 years, and for that I am eternally grateful. Thank you for the life you gave Ma and me. You made me who I am today. May your goodness, happiness, and love continue to shine through me. I will carry you in my heart forever.
Thank you, Sonali. I next invite Miss Monica Sarkar to pay her tributes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Monica Sarkar, Dipak's niece, and it's not like I was beautiful. So I'll keep this brief. My Dipak Kaka was an extraordinary man. Yes, he was brilliant. Yes, he was accomplished. Yes, he was successful. But beyond these accolades, he was a man of peace. He had a calm humility, a kind and loving heart, wishing only the best for others. He lived in the moment well before mindfulness was a thing. He found as much joy in his international adventures, the simple chats over tea, short strolls in the neighborhood with my kaki. May we all strive to find this sense of peace, this sense of serenity in ourselves. And in that pursuit, may we truly honor his legacy.
Thank you, Monica. I would like to invite Mr. Yogi Patel, a dear friend and a co-founder of Pratham, to say some words.
My name is Yogi Patel. I come from Dallas, Texas. And I know Dipak since 1970. I met him for the first time in 1971. But I've heard about it in 1970 when I was going to college in Tulsa. The time was very bad. 1970, the war was over and jobs were not many. But Dipak had found a job and everybody talked about this guy named Dipak Sarkar. When you graduate from Tulsa, all you have to do is get a Greyhound bus and call him. And he will come there, pick you up. You can borrow his coat, his tie, go for it to you. Once you get a job, then you are on your own, you find your place. So, there are lots of Gujaratis and we were wondering, is Sarkar naam acha nahi hai? We had very bad experience with the Bharat Sarkar, and this guy, the Dipak Sarkar, is so good. But anyway, he had a guy named Raj Prasad, and he settled there a semester, 2 semesters before me, and then I followed the trail. Raj became I stayed with him for a while. And I still didn't have a job. I had a fellowship. I fell in love with a girl in Dallas. They are from Kenya. She was visiting. We decided to get married. Dipak came to our wedding. He came to the court. And I want to share with you some of the lighter sides of Dipak. I mean, he had some one-liner that so quick, so witty, amazing. So at the wedding, the judge declared us as husband and wife and said, now you may kiss. I'm looking at Pravina, Pravina is looking at me, then she blushed, and Dipak came to our rescue. Your Honor, in our culture, kissing in public is not good. Can they take a rain check? So, actually I never learned English formally when I was in India. Pravina knew a little bit, but not much. We didn't know what rain check meant. So later on, I asked Pravina, you ask him. She said, no, you ask him. Finally, I asked. And there he goes another one. You know what, Pravina, you have to wait until it rains before you. And US, their government is watching everything. You will be fine. So we got married, and then we said, where are we going to stay? So I'm trying to get an apartment. I was staying with Raj, and then with the bride I wanted to move out. And I'm not able to get a lease. I have only part-time job and a fellowship. Then he said, okay, I'll sign your lease. And then he said, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to India to get married. Why don't you stay in my apartment for 6 weeks or 5 weeks? And then you get. So he signed. I got apartment lease, but I got 5 months of free rent in his apartment that we didn't get. And there are many people he has helped in Dallas. And the beauty was most Gujaratis helped only Gujaratis. This guy named Dipak Sarkar, he didn't hold any grudge against any name or any language. There were Singh and Sharmas and Burmas, all kinds of people he had helped in early years. Now I'm going to go a little forward. His sense of humor in public service. See, many people don't know, but Dipak Sarkar was the founder of the Indian Association of North Texas. So he became the president, and he asked me, Yogi, I need some help. Would you become my vice president? I said, I've never done anything like this. What do I do? So he helped us make new members. मेरे घर में मेरी वाइफ नहीं सुनती है और कौन सुनेगा? My wife doesn't listen to who else will listen? So I mean, I will not make a good vice president. But besides that, my English is not good. Gujarati I can talk, but then Rajaram and Ram and Reddy and other people I have to speak with them in English. Then Deepu says, this is your opportunity. With the people, I'm really looking for people like you. They cannot talk to their wife very nicely, or they don't listen to them. They have an opportunity to speak to other people. so you come and join. And then your English will be better because you'll be talking to a lot of non-Gujaratis. So I took that assignment, and then in the first meeting, he was very well prepared. He brought a printed, typed up agenda. There were no computers that time. There were, typewriters. So here the agenda, item number 7 was a Jalota program. And the one senior guy, he was much older than us. And he asked in Hindi, "Ye Jalota program kya hai? Koi khane ki cheez hai? Is there something to eat?" And Dipak again goes with his one-liner. "Ye Jalota nahi, ye Jalota hai. Jalota sunne ki cheez hai, gaane ki cheez hai." So the senior guy again got upset. He said, "Why don't you get Lata Mangeshkar or Mohammed Rafi? ये क्या है? कहाँ से पक्के आते हो ऐसे artists?" Is that better? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So finally, Dipak pushed for it. He got enough votes, and we got the program. Actually, Dipak Sarkar conducted the first concert of Anup Jalota in America in Dallas. Only 40 people came. We had a loss. He said, "We are not going to make Indian Association suffer the loss. We are going to take care of it." And he could have them on the rest of the committee, the rest of the meeting. So that is the kind of character that he has. When he takes a stand, he delivers the results. He turned the clock again in 1999. So then he moved to Kansas, I moved to Houston, and then we lost connections for many, many years. I used to get a Christmas card, but I did not write it back to him. And in 1999, I ran into Prasam. I called him again in 2000. That Dipak, you have supported many, many individuals. You have done a great job in Indian Association. But I know that you and I, we both want to help India. We have found a great charity, and they do this. Can you host a meeting? Chitra warned us. यहाँ सब लोग कंजूस है, आपको पैसा नहीं मिलेगा, आपको आना चाहिए. Wait, Yogi come. So he hosted the meeting in his house. Only seven families, so most of them were Bengalis. They came and they said we want to take part in this organization. And again, Dipak took his own, the drive and approach. He drove from Suresh Arora's house in the north part of town to San Clemente. And I tell you, I was really overwhelmed because I lived in Texas. We don't have this kind of highways. At least in 99, 2000, we didn't. And Dipak had a full-time job. I was in hotel business. I had control on my time. But Dipak really, delivered. He built an organization in Los Angeles. It's not only money that he has raised, but that was my first experience to go out of Texas to talk to strangers. And he opened that door. So he realized that there is a possibility that Indians will listen to us. And he really made a tremendous contribution. And many people don't have an idea that Pratham LA chapter has given more than $50 million in the last 20 years. And that is the Dipak Sarkar's simple, action-oriented leadership and his ability to reach out to all kinds of people, instead of Americans or the Hindustans. So I thought I will share this with you here, and I really want to thank Sona. Sona, it means so much to me that you asked me to share my dear friend Dipak's story that I know. Thank you so much. And from your friends in Texas, I bring condolences, their prayers to you and your family. For the first time, I have so many men, especially Bengali, they have called me personally, and they have cried on telephone, like baby. He was so much loved. I thought I would share that with you.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. That was heart-rending. There was so much about Dipak Dada that even I didn't know. The next one I invite to pay tribute is Supratam Mukherjee. He's also one of the long-term friends of Dipak Dada.
Good morning. I have known Dipak for about 48 years. Met him first in Dallas. This is my wife, Edie. We thought he was a family friend. And I've known Dipak for many years, probably longer than most of you here. Dipak lived by the rules. He never smoked, drank only rarely, and in moderation. Exercised regularly and lived healthy by any measure. The news of his sudden and unexpected passing Preeti, my wife here, and me in a state of shock. During this long association, I observed one thing, that is how Dipak managed to maintain his youthful looks. From the early 70s, when I got introduced to him in Dallas, to the 80s and to the 90s and 2 years, 2000 and beyond, Dipak did not put on weight. In his appearance, he did not bear any signs of aging, and he wore a mischievous smile on his face that made him look years younger. Chitra and Dipak's father's home was in the 70s, was a meeting place for the city's fast-growing Indian population. Always affable, Dipak welcomed families and bachelors alike. Chitra serving those tasty snacks was the other attraction for people looking to socialize and enjoy a relaxed evening after the day's work. Other activities of interest in which people participated were playing soccer and cards. The group met a couple of times during the week for practice. Soccer was a serious business at the time in Dallas. And the group made up of Bengalis regarded the other group, composed mostly of expatriates from Kerala, as their nemesis. The competition was fierce when these two teams played. Then in 1979, Dipak and his family left Dallas and moved to Independence, Kansas. Before he left, he vowed to stay in touch. I told Dipak that since it was unlikely that I shall ever visit Independence, he must come to Dallas. He agreed, citing many other friendships in the city that he has forged over the years. But before we shall get an opportunity to meet in Dallas, my wife, Geeti, and I moved to Los Angeles. It was not until during the LA Olympics in 1984 that we would meet again, when Dipak showed up with his family and a bunch of tickets for the games. In 1988, he moved to LA permanently. Dipak was a soft-spoken man. I've observed him discussing politics, social issues, and sports. Even when sometimes matters became heated, he managed to maintain a dignified demeanor. He was often one of the most objective and informed speakers in the group. He was often one of the most objective. The compassionate nature of Dipak was evident when he started his tireless efforts to raise funds for Rotan, an organization devoted to raising money for educating disadvantaged children in India. Some of us observed the soft side of his nature, watching him fight back. Tears while delivering an eulogy for his very close friend, Anjan Ghosh. That Chitra and Dipak had pensions for good living is obvious in the cars they drove, the vacations they took, and how they entertained. When Chitra and Dipak's only son got married, they celebrated the happy occasion in lavish style. But Dipak Sarkar did not just live good life. He also spent on worthy causes, such as philanthropy, children's education, etc. His involvement with the organization called Rotan was mentioned. That he was successful is beyond question. His hilltop mansion on the riverside is a testament to his success. Heartfelt condolences to Chitra, Svana, Raj, Kumar, and Arjun. Geeti and sympathy. Thank you.
Hello, I'm going to read something from Islam. Dipak's another very old friend from Dallas, and he just wrote a few lines to me, so I can read here. It's from Islam. As I'm flying to Dallas today, I will not be able to attend the Zoom meeting today. Our prayers are always with our smiling and loving Dipak. We miss him not with our tears, but with enormous sweet memories he has left for us to enjoy. Let's not mourn over his passing. Let us celebrate his good deeds, celebrate the kind of husband, father, grandfather, and unconditional friend he was. We miss him a lot. May his soul rest in peace. I think I just lost something. I'm sorry. We talked about Chitra and how Dipak talked about his love life, but I think I missed here. Anyway, but we are very, very old friend of Dipak's. I'm since 76 and all kinds of memories. I don't want, and Chitra also. Their generous friendship we will never forget. And as I said, please rest in peace.
Thank you, both of you. Panditji wants to say some more words, so you're invited to come over to the podium.
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरे परमात्मने अतक्लेशनाशाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। हम सभी यहाँ पे दीपक जी दीपक सरकार उनकी प्रार्थना सभा में साथ इकट्ठा हुए। आप सब जानते हैं कि दीपक जी ने बहुत सारे कार्य में आगे रहे, अपनी कम्युनिटी और इस तरह के एक दूसरे को हेल्प करना, और काफ़ी सालों से करते आ रहे हैं। तो भगवान उनकी आत्मा को शांति दे। ये सब हम लोग 2 मिनट पहले मौन धारण करके, जिनका नाम ही दीपक है, दीपक का मतलब ज्योत प्रकाश, तो उन्होंने ऐसे ऐसे कार्य किए हैं कि आप सभी लोग जानते हैं। तो भगवान से प्रार्थना करते हैं कि वो गौलोक विष्णु लोक की धर्म की प्राप्त कराएं। भगवान विष्णु को सब लोग 2 मिनट मौन धारण करते हैं। आप करके क्लोज योर आईज। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Please stand up and here.
What Panditji is saying that we can form a single line, do the viewing, and then get back.
Viewing at the heel, recommend this go another way.
But we have to move this.
Yeah, more the front. Yeah, please everyone come up the back side, all the way line straight. Take some flour, put it in the here, and then go around this side. Yeah. Just come on a line.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama
પછી 5 મિનિટમાં આવું.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Arjun,
प्लीज जिनको अंतिम दर्शन करना है कर लीजिए आफ्टर वी पुट द सीट इन द विंडो just last person this family member can go in front last person Family member, please, everyone please touch. सबूत चाहिए परिवार वाले family member. Yeah, we need more. I need two more. I need two more. Excuse me, family. Two more gloves.
Oh, you got it, okay. Right now, we're just gonna walk with it, I'm gonna give you instructions, step by step, on what we're gonna do, okay? But you will be picking it up. That's why you gotta eat wonderful stuff, people don't even say, no, it's okay. You got help. You just, you're in the middle. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Step up, one more in there, there you go. Do not pick up, now we're just gonna roll forward. Everybody please stand, and we open the entrance, everybody please stand. Make it a clear path, please, thank you. We're just gonna roll, and I'll tell you what to do after that. We're gonna roll all the way outside, I'll tell you what to do, please. Thank you. Ram Nam Satya Hai, 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 Ram Nam Satya Hai.